The nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
Well, it's a big, beautiful win for America. The House sending President Trump's big, beautiful bill to his desk, and he will sign it tomorrow at 5 p.m., just in time to meet his July 4th deadline. And right now, 47 is headed to Iowa to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Republicans celebrating with a thumbs up, while Democrats were throwing a hissy fit. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries posted a dopey photo of himself with a baseball bat before using the magic minute, wasting 8 hours and 44 minutes grandstanding on the floor to delay the bill, setting a record for saying absolutely nothing. Speaker Mike Johnson, however, taking to the floor after Jeffries struck out with a better use of the magic minute.
You know, Ronald Reagan said one time that no speech should be longer than 20 minutes, and unlike the Democrat leader, I'm going to honor my colleague's time and be a little more brief than that, all right? You know, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth. Too many wins. Are you tired of winning yet?
No! And here are the Democrats who are tired of all of the winning.
People in this country will die unnecessary deaths. That's unacceptable. That's unconscionable. That's un-American.
This is actually a sad and shameful way to celebrate the 4th of July.
I just can't emphasize how, I'm getting calls, and in the airports, people come up to me when they recognize me, and they're sobbing on my shoulder.
Our children, our children, our children. Let us vote no on this shameful bill and throw a punch for the children.
Wow, Joey, people are dying and we're throwing punches for children, according to Democrats.
It amazes me when and how Democrats care about children. And I'm not even talking about abortion. We've fought this idea of mutilating and castrating children for a couple of years now. And America's shown where they are on it, but now they're worried about children. I will tell you, in this big, beautiful bill, I have no idea how it's going to fare out as far as what it will cost us versus the revenue it'll bring in. That's an ideological fight that Republicans and Democrats have, honestly, and I appreciate that. But I'll tell you one thing about it, one thing nobody's talking about. For 91 years, there's been a $200 tax for guns that have a barrel under 16 inches and for suppressors. And the fact that this bill got through the House and the Senate, removing that tax down to zero, something that no one's been able to do in 100 years for red-blooded Americans that believe in the Second Amendment, it was a huge win.
So, Paul, there is a lot in this bill. There's a lot that Democrats voted against in this legislation. But whatever you have to say, in the first 6 months of President Trump's second term, he's already codified all of his campaign promises, essentially, in this piece of legislation. And Republicans, miraculously, for the most part, were able to stick together with these very slim margins that we've been talking about since last fall.
Yeah, he herded all of those cats. Look, you got to say at least one thing here, no matter where you stand politically, which is that Donald Trump is doing what he said he was going to do, which is a very rare thing in politics. I mean, let's just say that at the outset. We don't know exactly right. We don't know exactly how it's all going to shake out. But at the end of the day, this is the agenda, and now you'll see. First time around, remember something. You had unemployment down to 3.5%. Today, it's now approaching 4.1, right? So something is working, and we're going to get all this stuff coming in, and we're going to see. Here's who it's definitely a bad day for, though. It's definitely a bad day for freeloaders, because this workfare. Now, this workfare is modeled almost exactly on the Bill Clinton workfare of a number of years ago, and yet they're all apoplectic over it. Shows you how the Democratic Party has changed. Men and women's sports. So the idea that you got a Y chromosome, you're going to go in and dominate the track team, that's over, right? You're not doing that to women. Bad day for illegals. The wall's funded, ICE is funded. Bad day for Iran and our other adversaries. The military is funded. But here's who it's really bad day for. It's a bad day for moderate Republicans. And here's why I say, moderate Democrats. If you remember the first term, he had a chance, that is, Trump had a chance to make a deal with Democrats on DACA and the Dreamers. And I'm stealing this point from Dana. The thing is, this time around, Trump had to negotiate with Republicans to get this thing over the finish line. Wouldn't it be better if you're sitting with moderate Democrats, so to come in and say, we'll give you a couple of votes, but we want some sugar? He shouldn't have gone that. If he had gone that way, if they had come to him, they should have gone that way, because they could have had a piece of the victory lap. Instead, they're all on the sidelines.
So, Leslie, someone who else decided to weigh in on this is the former president, Joe Biden. Decided to pipe up with a post on X today saying that the Republican budget bill is not only reckless, it's cruel, that it slashes Medicaid and takes away health care from millions of Americans, meaning illegal immigrants. It closes rural hospitals and cuts food assistance for our veterans and seniors. It jacks up energy bills, et cetera. You know, Joe Biden campaigned on being a moderate and govern like a far left lunatic, essentially. And a lot of this bill takes back a number of things that he implemented during his term. And Democrats seem like they want to move on from him. And yet he's deciding to weigh in on this after Democrats didn't even decide to come together with the president, maybe work on some things together, given the president's popularity, decided to oppose it.
Yeah, because what my side of the aisle did is they listened to the American people. Only 30% support this bill, 50% don't. The constituencies of Democrats throughout the country, whether they're a House member or for the state and the Senate, don't support this. I'm going to talk about a bad day. Since you talk about a bad day, it's a bad day. It's a bad day. It's a bad day for 3 million children that are food reliant on SNAP. It's a bad day for over 25% of the nursing homes that will close. The people there, where do they go? Those families that need that help and the people that work in those communities. It's a bad day for the rural hospitals that'll close. It's a bad day for the city hospitals and the doctors and the nurses and the other medical staff that will be overburdened by those closures. I could go on and on and on. The reason Democrats didn't vote for this is because it's not good for the American people. And if you don't care about people and health, and you only care about money, 4.1 up to 4.1 trillion adds to the deficit. Who does that hurt? That hurts our children and our grandchildren because they're going to be stuck with that tab.
I find it interesting that Democrats now want to talk about deficits, but just in terms of the facts of the bill, there's a new $50 billion fund specifically for rural hospitals, which is how they got it out of the Senate and passed back to the House. Kat?
Well, listen, I'm always talking about deficits, all right? Rand Paul said he had concerns about this yesterday because of that reason. Thomas Massey's made similar comments. I happen to share those concerns. Obviously, I understand that the hope behind this is that the tax cuts would grow the economy and that would offset some of these losses. That requires some optimism. You might have that optimism. You might struggle to find that optimism. You're not alone if you do. I would also say that you're not alone if, excuse my language, you are just feeling so dang disillusioned by the whole system at this point. Because doesn't it seem so difficult to make any kind of real change in the way that things currently are? Because there's these big, massive bills and all this stuff gets thrown in there, and we can't just do things one at a time because everybody wants their piece of this or that. And the word cruel, I do get so irritated with that because I really think you have to realize you probably know people in your life who are conservative. Do those people want sick people to die? No. That there are maybe some different ways of how to get there or what these solutions are to the problems that we have. But I will also say that if you are a person who is concerned about spending, then don't let people tell you that doesn't mean you're a compassionate person, because having these concerns means you're concerned about passing this burden on to future generations. And having that concern is thinking about other people, which is by nature compassionate. And just in general, I think assuming the worst intentions in others doesn't heal anyone.
Yeah, and probably coming with some policy positions rather than accusations of people dying or being cruel is a better bet for the Democrats.
Real quick, if you're worried about hospitals being overburdened and people losing Medicare, where do you think the 8 to 10 million people Joe Biden let in this country, where do you think they get their health care?
Okay.
Where do you think
Wait, guys, I got to break in here.
Medicaid is not given to undocumented.
The president has arrived at Joint Base Andrews. He is outside of Air Force One. It looks like he may be walking over to speak with the press. They're usually on the other side of those red stairs. We will see if that happens. But he's on his way to a America 250 celebration in Iowa tonight, where he will give his first remarks since his big, beautiful bill passed.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.